You're more than welcome to be political. Just don't expect me to have much to say about it. Because I have opinions, right? But not strong enough ones to where I would sort of push it on anyone. I'll share my opinions when I believe something and I'll say it, but if someone can give me a good reason not believing what I'm believing, then I'll be like, okay, great, that's a good reason. I'll just move on, I suppose. Let me just move this down a bit. The next one is Blue Like. All right, Blue Like, gonna pull you in now. Blue Like, how you doing, brother? How you doing, bro?
Can you hear me as well?
Yes, I can hear you just fine.
Excellent. Good to chat with you again.
Oh yeah, very happy to have you here. What is your question, Blue Like?
All right, a little bit of back.
Wait, there's a lot of cutting out here. Give me a second. Can one of the mods very quickly change the location of voice calling to America? Specifically East America, like the eastern coast of America, please? Yeah, I think that's going to be better for most people in the channel if we go to, like, America rather than trying to stay in South Africa. Anyways, Blue Like, what was your question? I think your connection is really bad because I can literally not hear you at all, Blue Like. Thank you very much, Apocalypse. I really appreciate that. Blue Like, can you hear me now?
This is sorry about all of this.
No, that's fine.
Okay,
all right.
Since your opinion or since your observations with than mine, if you were to speak with somebody still playing WoW, what arguments would you use to get them to start looking into giving Final Fantasy XIV a fair shot?
All right. Giving Final Fantasy XIV a fair shot. Well, my first argument would be, if you're a gamer, why would you not at least try a game that is, in many ways, exactly what you want from a game? It is an MMO. It has a compelling story. It has dungeons, it has raids, it has basically everything. The only people I wouldn't be able to talk to is effectively PvPers, because, well, Final Fantasy doesn't really have good PvP, so I would not be able to convince them. For them, I would probably use an argument more for ESO or Guild Wars 2, something to that effect, because those games are better PvP-wise. But for everyone else, I would say, why would you not at least give it a try? Because at the end of the day, worst that can happen is you end up hating it, and then you can just go back to WoW. The best that can happen is you end up loving it, and then, well, you found a new game that you love. So why would you... Like, what is there to really lose in this argument? Like, what do you have to lose? At the end of the day, that would be, I think, my main argument. You don't have anything to lose. You pretty much only have something to fucking gain from, trying out Final Fantasy XIV. As to specifics, that would depend on what kind of player am I talking to. Because if it's a story player, if it's someone that really cares about the story, hands down, Final Fantasy is a million times better than World of Warcraft when it comes to story. Just hands down. The way they deliver the story, the way they tell the story, the way they engage with the narrative, their pacing within the story is just absolutely fantastic. So much better than anything World of Warcraft has ever put out. And when I say ever, I do mean ever. World of Warcraft has never had the level of storytelling that Final Fantasy has. Never. So if you care about story, at least play it for the story. Doesn't mean you have to make a full switch forever, but go experience that story, because it's a good fucking story to experience at least once. Or come watch me live on Twitch when I experience the story for you. You can always do that as well, because that grows my stream and also more money. So why not? But no, I would say that is, like, you could at least give it a go, see what that story is like, see how that story is developed and how it is delivered, fall in love with the game or not. Again, it comes back to you have nothing to lose. If I'm talking to just general players, so players that love intrigue and sort of systems and enjoy the game, keeping them busy, again, Final Fantasy, I think, have more content than modern WoW could ever have, right? Like, I don't think I am exaggerating when I say that Final Fantasy probably has anywhere from 200 to 500% more content than what World of Warcraft has. And I'm not talking about like content overall. I'm talking about available content. So in other words, content that is available at max level to enjoy. Final Fantasy have far more, and this is because Final Fantasy never allowed any of their content to fall away. All content is still to this day relevant because it's designed knowing that it must be relevant forever. So in that regard, I think you're gonna find... So for those of you that don't know, how many people in the chat was at the wedding, at Alpen's wedding last week? We were at a wedding last week for the first time ever. All right, so I am not an RPer whatsoever. I had the time of my life at that wedding. I was blown away by that wedding. It is an RP spectacle of note, right? But it's not like any other wedding I've ever seen in a video game. It's not like the RP players are meant to use their imagination. There's a physical place that you can get married in. There's physical marriage packages that you can get. Every single guest at that wedding received 2 pets as wedding presents. You get 2 pets. The bride and groom get like a unique wedding dress and wedding suit, or you know, if it's a bride and a bride or a groom and a groom, you get the idea, right? You get a mount, a 2-seater mount that is yours forever to keep, yeah, and 2 rings. These rings actually come with a storyline quest that you have to do, and then they link you together. So for the rest of time, as long as you have the ring, you can teleport to your partner wherever they are in the world for free. Just hit the button and bam, you're where your partner is. So there's like an actual thing, and the wedding itself is like a half an hour of cutscenes and shit that's going on that is so fucking awesome for someone that isn't even in or into RP. I don't RP at all, but I was just there going, Jesus, like this is the amount of shit that they think about when it comes to like weddings in a fucking video game. This is what they think about. This is how deep the Final Fantasy developers go. And by the way, it's not just for weddings, it's for everything. Every single piece of content that they add into the game, they go above and beyond what you could possibly expect for an MMO to go, right? Especially when you're used to World of Warcraft that sort of generally just does the bare minimum of what is required. They go all in to make sure that that is the best content it could possibly be for all players involved. And then the biggest argument I would make, if you are on the fence, it's free all the way up to level 60, including the award-winning expansion Heavensward. Free. You can play the entirety of the base game plus the first expansion, no questions asked, no money charged. You play it, you like it, you can sub. Maybe you don't like it, then what the fuck? You've lost nothing. You can genuinely uninstall the game and get back the gigs that the game took out. So I genuinely don't understand why people wouldn't even give it a go. It's fucking free. So, you know, it's, yeah, that would be my argument. Blue Like, does that help?
It does, in a sense. I think the biggest things I have to try to overcome in their arguments are more personal opinion based at this point. It's just like, I think what I have to overcome is at this point is still more personal opinion based, such as they don't like the graphics. I think that's a bit disingenuous, since I think that's more trying to fight against the style.
Yeah.
Which that's not only is that a good question of opinion, but it's also what kind of style you're looking for, since at this point I feel...
You cut out there, Blue Like.
Oh, sorry. I feel like 14 has a more realistic, despite animated style, while WoW goes more full cartoon.
Stylized. Yeah. WoW is definitely more stylized. Which is, by the way, I do not argue with people. I think World of Warcraft graphics are fantastic. I've actually, it's one of the few things I have never criticized in World of Warcraft. It is the graphics. I fucking love it. I love the way my orc runs. I love the way my orc casts. I don't like what my ore costs. I hate warlocks at the moment, but for the most part, I love the graphics. I love the cartooniness, the sort of over-the-top nonsensicalness of the graphics. It's beautiful. It gives its character. I love it. If you're asking me what I would say to people that genuinely dislike Final Fantasy, for example, because of the graphics or because of, X, Y, and Z, I wouldn't say anything to them, because at the end of the day, games are incredibly subjective. What one person loves, another person might absolutely despise. And it's okay. It's why there are so many different types of games on the market. It's why there isn't just one game that everyone gets to play. There's millions, and it should be that way. So if someone genuinely dislikes graphics in FF14, I would say I don't agree with them, because I think the graphics is fine, but soon that argument is also going to fall apart, because Final Fantasy is doing the thing that Blizzard said you could never do, and that is updating all of the graphics in the game in the way that I have said from the beginning Blizzard could do it. They're doing it piece by piece. They know they have too big a game to update everything at once, so instead they're going bit by bit. And hopefully within the next 2 or 3 expansions, the whole world will be completely updated. And will be fantastic, because it is going to look just brilliant. I've seen the screenshots. It's fantastic. But ultimately, I think there is a portion of the player base for World of Warcraft that is never going to be convinced. And that's fine, right? Just what I hate is when people who have never tried Final Fantasy XIV, or who have only played, say, to level 20 or level 30, coming out and saying, well, Final Fantasy XIV is a stupid fucking game and I hate it. It's like, dude, you didn't even play the game. Shut the fuck up. Just say, look, it's not my type of game, I'm moving on. But don't start trashing the fucking game, because you didn't play it. You never tried it. You logged in, you spent a couple of hours getting to level 20, and then you said, fuck this game, not fully understanding what you're even about to embark on, what this journey entails. So yeah, ultimately I get what you're saying, Blue Like, but I don't think anyone could change those players' minds. I think those people have made up their minds.
Oh, I can understand that. I suppose it's more just the regret at not being able to bond over a shared experience.
Yeah, well, that's why you find new people to bond with, right? I have found an incredible community within Final Fantasy XIV. I have many viewers who play Final Fantasy XIV. I have many viewers who do not play Final Fantasy XIV, and yet we all have fun when I play it. Some people, like Apocalypse, has his fun by bashing me and the game for being too weepy. And other people enjoy it because, we're in Eorzea and we're having our fun. So ultimately, as long as people don't act like complete morons and sort of criticize every aspect of the game, even though they haven't played it, I think it's fine. Let everyone play what they want to play. I'm not making YouTube videos about Final Fantasy to convince anyone to play Final Fantasy. I'm making videos about Final Fantasy because it genuinely makes me happy. That wedding just renewed my love for Final Fantasy XIV. And I'm not even an RPer. And just seeing that level of detail, one of the things I praise Square Enix for most is the level of care and effort that goes into every single thing that they develop for their player base. It's insane. So yeah, Blue Light, thank you so much for the question. Really appreciate it. Sorry, did you want to say something else?
It's just that last line is just, well, except Hrothgar haircuts coming out later.
Yeah.
That's its own controversy.
There's always going to be some fucking controversy, right? But anyways, Blue Light, let me get to the other people in the channel below. Really appreciate you asking, bro.
Thanks for having me again.
It is an absolute pleasure. Thank you so much, dude. See you again soon.